Hi everyone, so far in this series we have performed CRUD operations using Entity Framework with SQL Server, and this is the only controller we have so far, and we have exposed those endpoints. Next, we will be jumping into the relationships within Entity Framework, how we can create one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many relationships, and few other advanced options as well. But before that, let's take a pause and try to refactor this code because ideally our actions should not have this logic. Like we should not accessing DB context directly within these actions. We should have a separate service layer so that if there are multiple front-end applications want to access database, can access that through those services. So for that one, I will be creating a folder. This is exercise which we will do every time whenever we will write few lines of code, and we will try to refactor that by taking a pause. I will name it services. Okay, services already exist. Let me see how. Let's include this one. All right, and let's add a class user service, and I will add an interface as well, user service, and within that interface we will be clearing that function to get list of users. Okay, public I enumerable user entity, and we can name it get users. That's fine. We are going to implement that this class user service, and we will implement that method. And here we need to add that DB context. We will be injecting that one. Private read only school DB context and school DB context. Okay, and we will be using school DB context and school DB context. All right. Now get user will be returning these results like this. That is the first step. We only exposed one method at this point. Next would be to inject that dependency within program.cs, and we will be managing that after this db context addition, creation of services, and we can say builder.services.add scoped, and we want to add scope type of instance every time we want that user service. So user service that is done. Let's get back to the my controller, and here we will be injecting private read only I user service, and that would be underscore user service I user service this way. Okay, now within get we can get rid of this line, and we can just say user service dot get users. Awesome. And this way we have added and introduced layer of abstraction. We don't know how we are getting user, but we have a function, we just called it, and we can call same function on different front-end projects or backend services wherever we want list of users. This is how we have extracted the data access logic into the service, and we can use that service from any number of times from within that solution. Okay, that was the first step, and we can do same for the other ones. Next is the post one where we are actually creating a user. Let's put that logic in here. We need to expose a function which will return us let's say bool, and I will say create user this way. And here we will be implementing that, and that would be the logic, and we can directly use this user, save changes, and we can say result count return greater than 0, which means a record has been added. All right. From order perspective, that should be after this one. So we will follow the same order which we have in controllers, service, and the interfaces. Okay. Let's jump back to our controller here, user home controller, and here we can just say user service dot create user. We can simply say let's create it, and as created it will return a spool, so we can check it. If not of has created, then return let's say what we want to return. Results dot. For now, let's say we want to return a bad request, and okay, unable to create a user, otherwise it's created. That's fine. And we will do same thing for put and delete as well. Update user and delete user. From within the service, let's implement those methods. And for update one, so we are updating user here and it's returning us count greater than 0. And let's jump back to home again, and we can replace that one now with almost same logic from here, and we can definitely update it. Update user, and update user means we need entity here. That's fine. We can pass that one. We will get rid of this line as well in future, but for now, let's for simplicity, let's move that logic piece by piece into the service layer. Okay, user has been updated, updated, has updated. Okay, update the user, and again for same kind of purpose, we can here we need the user ID, not whole user. Let's go back to service. We can say it's a user ID, and we are performing same operation here as well. We can say return count greater than 0. So we have all the logic here now, and that would be the final step within our controller, where we will be replacing that one with user service dot delete user, and we will passing user ID to that one. Yeah. So var has deleted, and if not has deleted, unable to delete the user. Nice. And now we can get rid of this dependency. We don't need that context directly injected in the controller. All right. Let me quickly run that one first to see how it works. And also let me open the HTTP file to check how our changes are working. So for get one, yes, we are getting the user. That's fine. For create one, we are able to create, and if we send get again, we are getting two users. Great. We want to update a user to Osman code 22. Let's say where user ID is 24, we want to make it user code number 24. Send request. Okay, which means if we now make a call, no, that didn't happen. That's fine. We can check that quickly. All right. So for that case, update user name, update has updated. Okay, go to implementation, update username to users dot where ID is this one, and let's put a debug here to see what is happening. And now let's try to send for the update as well. Okay, we are getting user with ID 0, yeah, that is the issue, I think. Yeah, that makes sense. For that one, we need to pass the ID as well. So ID is equal to model.id. Let me quickly run this again and send the request this time. Request. Now we have Osman code 24, which was required. Now let's add a delete endpoint to check the to check how that delete works. Delete home JSON, and along with that I can simply pass 24 like that. Oh no, no, not like that. Need to pass it like this. I think so. All right, let me send pad request. Yeah, awesome. Don't need parentheses. And if I check now, we only have one record with ID 25, which is great. So this is how we have moved all the logic, the DB context access logic from controller to the service, and we are just calling over service. Although it's not a best code at the moment, it's not in its best shape, but we will be updating that with time. And from this point onwards, we will be trying to create relationships between different entities, which means in the next videos, we will be adding few more entities. For now, we only have one table, which is user. So we will be introducing few more entities and we'll try to play with the relationships within those entities in Entity Framework Core 8.0. So that was all for this video. In case of any confusion or query, do ask me in the comments and see you in the next one.